What's going on guys, Philip here, and it's been about 2 weeks since I fully switched from my Pixel 4a to the Pixel 6 Pro, and I think it's finally time I give you my full review on this phone. First of all, let's talk about the design because this phone looks sick. I love the look, it's definitely unique and the camera bar looks way cooler now than it did before, but I had to wrap the phone in a deep-brown skin because of how slippery, glossy and a fingerprint magnet it was. It's nicer though to see that the camera module is not like the ones we are used to on almost every other phone out there. On the negative side though, dust particles will always collect around the camera bar no matter what. The rest of this phone is built great. With Corning Gorilla Glass Victus on the back and the front, this should keep scratches away, and it does a good job at that because I haven't seen any micro scratches at all. Keeping in mind I'm rocking it without a screen protector, but it's still glass, so I'll definitely have to be careful with it. The aluminium rails are shiny, but good thing it doesn't attract a lot of fingerprints like an iPhone 12 Pro or the 13 Pro would. Overall, this is a solidly built phone, and the fact that it is IP68 rated against water and dust makes it even better. And before I forget, the haptics on this phone are really good. Every tap, drag and interaction feels so good all over the OS. Moving on to the display, Google went all in this time with a Quad HD 6.7 inches 120Hz display that actually tones down to 10Hz when you don't need that crazy high refresh rate to save battery life thanks to LTPO, and to say the least, it's beautiful and smooth. The screen real estate and the punchy colors from the OLED screen makes consuming content so much better and immersive. Yeah, it's curved on the sides that some of you won't appreciate, and at first you will see some shadows at the edges, but you get used to it pretty quickly as it kinda disappears the more you use the phone. There are 3 color profiles in the display settings: natural, boosted and adaptive, but I'll let it stay at natural. If it's watching Netflix or just YouTube videos from your favorite creators, you'll definitely love it here. Plus the speakers are great. The only thing I hate about the display of this phone is the fingerprint scanner that is actually built beneath the screen. It was terrible at first, but a couple updates later it's improved, but not quite there yet. Sometimes it will just refuse to let me in, more so if the phone is lying flat on the table, forcing me to type my PIN in, but when it gets it right, it works, just not as reliable as an ultrasonic one would. I found out that enrolling my fingerprint multiple times and also pressing down a little bit harder than normal improves the accuracy and the speed of the scanner, so there goes your little tip. There have been speculations about software-based face unlock potentially coming to the Pixel 6 series in a future update, and I really hope it makes its way ASAP. With 12 gigs of RAM, I've never seen this phone lag at any point in time while using it. It's fast, apps launch instantly, multitasking is smooth and gaming is great. I play Call of Duty Mobile at max settings and it catches up with every frame thrown at it just fine with minimal to no lags at all. It gets warm if you play for longer periods of time though, but not as much as other phones that I've used thanks to the Tensor chip. And talking of Tensor, which is Google's custom SoC, it handles every bit of the software more efficiently now than it ever did after launch. A lot of the bugs have been squashed out thanks to the software updates that Google keeps pushing, and now I can confidently use this phone without thinking that it will ever freeze on me for no apparent reason at all. Of course, Google includes a ton of AI features powered by the Tensor chip like voice typing, which is really cool and fast and accurate as advertised. I was always a keyboard typer for the most part, but now I use voice typing more often than ever because it works perfectly. Yes, it misses some smaller bits here and there, but it's super fast and reliable, and I'd confidently use it in place of typing, saving me some time. This extends to the Google Assistant. It gets me right and faster compared to my other Pixel, and that's a win for me. And the fact that I can turn off or snooze my alarm by just saying the word stop or snooze respectively is a lifesaver. Now this phone came with Android 12 out of the box, and keeping in mind that Google is now offering up to 4 years of major updates and 5 years of security updates, Pixel 6 Pro will get Android 16 as its final major update, and that's not bad on the Android side of things. Android 12 is beautiful with larger components, one-handed mode operation, way better looking widgets and Material U, and a whole lot more features. I've already made videos on Android 12, so if you wanna check them out, there are links below the like button. But in a nutshell, here are some features that I really found useful. Quick tap for actions lets you map actions like turning on flashlight, opening apps, and my favorite one, which is taking screenshots, and many more by just double tapping the back of your phone. It works like a charm, but I wish we had more controls like triple tapping for other actions as well. Most of these features are found on older Pixel phones, so you're not missing out a lot if you own one. Battery life has been great for me, and that's to be expected because Google slapped a 5003 mAh battery inside this phone. I've seen negative experiences online about the battery life of this phone, but that's not the case for me personally. It gets me through most days, and that's all I ever need. I toss it at the charger overnight, and by the time I wake up, I have full charge for the day, but I've killed it at around 6 PM on days that I use the camera and mobile data a lot instead of Wi-Fi. It supports both wireless and reverse wireless charging, which I find useful by topping my earbuds when they are dead, even though the speeds are slower than plugging them in a wall charger, but it's convenient. Turning off 5G improves the battery life a little bit, and since I can't utilize it here, it's been off since day one. You can get way better battery life by also turning off smooth display that defaults the screen refresh rate to 60Hz if you're ready to sacrifice the fluidity. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with the battery life of this phone. It's way better for what I do than my Pixel 4a was, and I'm happy about that. Now let's talk about the cameras, which is what Google excels at. Well, the new sensor is big. I mean bigger than most competition out there, just short of Samsung, of course, packing a 50 megapixel main sensor that lets in 150% more light than the Pixel 5. And that's true, at least from the photo samples I've taken against the Pixel 4a. The main sensor is the best among the 12 megapixel ultra-wide and the 48 megapixel 4x telephoto. It takes great pictures and it's easily my best phone camera to shoot with. On the other side, shots look way more processed. HDR is a little bit more aggressive than I like, and the big sensor doesn't do justice when it comes to close-up shots. Here's a little camera comparison between the 6 Pro and the Pixel 4a from back in 2019. Let me know which one you think is from the 6 Pro and the 4a down in the comment section below. Okay, if you said photo 1 was from the 4a, you are right. One little gripe I have with the camera app is that it won't actually switch to the telephoto lens when you are in a low light environment, but rather zoom in digitally from the main sensor, which is smart, and I get it, but sometimes even in good lighting conditions, it doesn't switch to the telephoto as fast as I would want it to. Now, Google really hyped the magic eraser feature on the Pixel 6 series. Although these are the features you only get excited about in the first month or so, and rarely or even never use them again, at least for me, but I can see a lot of situations that it comes in handy. Videos in 4K 60 looks sharp and great for most shots, although noise level seems higher than I've seen on other phones, which is a bummer for me, but for the most part the footage is usable if you primarily shoot on phones. With all those great and not so great things about the Pixel 6 Pro, is it still worth it 5 months later? Should you buy it if you're eyeing one? Well, I'd probably recommend it if you have the budget. It comes in at $899 for the best version, and cameras are amazing, design is great, battery life is good, and when it comes to software, you're sorted in both regular and major updates down the line. On the other side, the regular Pixel 6 is also a great choice if you don't have that much to spend on a phone. You'll however get a smaller footprint with a 6.4-inch display, a smaller battery capacity, and one less camera but at a lower price tag. And that's a wrap for this video, guys. I hope my insights helped you in a way or two. Drop a like to this video and leave a comment if you have any concerns. And if you're into such kinds of videos, then subscribe to the channel for more if you haven't already. Anyway, goodbye, and most of all, stay safe.